I'm Alex Gupta with UATV. Today I'm speaking with Maksym Voloshyn. He is the Director of Aviation at Kyiv-Boryspil International Airport. Hello, Mr. Voloshyn. Welcome to UATV.
Hi, nice to meet you here.
Thanks for coming. I want to ask you, is Boresville seeing an increase in traffic from visa-free?
Well, we definitely see an increase of traffic. However, it is hardly possible now to say that all this traffic increase is due to visa-free. The matter is that the airlines, they plan the fleet and the capacities well in advance, let's say a year in advance. And therefore, it is difficult now to say that this growth is not because of capacity increase and frequencies increase and normal marketing growth, but because of visa-free. Definitely visa-free makes a part of this growth, but we expect that the significant or further growth will be visible in months since now.
Are there any new airlines, any new routes planned for Kyiv-Boryspil International Airport in the next year?
Well, yes, we actually holding negotiations now with several airlines, some of them low-cost airlines, some of them legacy airlines, and let's say top-class airlines. However, I would, if it's possible, not disclose now these names and destinations, since the negotiations are still in progress.
I see. Okay. I know I was reading that Kyiv-Boryspil International Airport is one of the fastest-growing airports in Europe, next to Reykjavik and in Cyprus. How much is passenger traffic growing at Kyiv Airport?
Well, we are really not the biggest, but really probably one of the fastest growing airports in Europe. And now, this year, we experienced 29% growth rate in passenger traffic, and this is quite a good result. Normally, let's say airports in Europe, they're growing like 6–10% a year. So we still have a big potential. Definitely a significant part of this growth is transit traffic, because we're developing the hub in the airport, but with pleasure we do see the point-to-point traffic growth as well.
Okay, so a lot of the traffic can be attributed to people flying into Kyiv and then maybe going to Kharkov or Odessa?
Yes, to a certain extent, yes, definitely, yes.
And then what is driving the point-to-point growth, do you think?
Well, I guess the situation with Ukraine, not only the visa-free regime, but actually recovery after the events of 2013–2014. And we saw a significant growth last year, and we see a continuation of this growth this year. The significant part of the background for this growth is the frequency and flights opening. You know that every flight open generates certain part of the market. And since many airlines increased frequencies, including Ukraine International, the home carrier of Boresville Airport, these new capacities, these new frequencies, they do generate the traffic, the point-to-point traffic as well.
What are some of the more popular routes, popular destinations?
Well, this is, we have to separate them into groups. One group could be probably the destinations for which are the final destination for the public. And this is more, let's say, Tel Aviv and Turkish destinations in Turkey, because there are a lot of charter flights directed just there. However, there is another group of destinations which are more hub and transit destinations for the public departing from Ukraine. And definitely these are well-known European hubs like Amsterdam, like Frankfurt, like Munich, like Vienna, like Wien, and Istanbul as well. So I would name these two groups of destinations.
Do you anticipate any new flights, any new routes to the United States, to Canada, Western Hemisphere?
Well, Boresville Airport would definitely welcome any new flights, including the flights to North America and so on. However, the opening of these flights, depending more not from the airport, because the airport itself, it has an infrastructure for that. There are flights to New York now. But this is dependent more on airline side, because the flight itself, first of all, it is significant costs for the airline, and the airline has to make a thorough analysis before to start this flight, even if market, I mean, has people, passengers is existent. So the airline has to first make an estimation on will this revenue from the market cover the costs of operation. And as far as I know, Ukraine International mentioned recently that they consider to restart Toronto nearest time, I guess, next year.
Could Boresville become a major hub for East Europe, Central Asia, much like Iceland and Norway are becoming hubs for Europe?
Well, definitely could. The issue is this a right target, right plan to be the biggest. The better plan is to be an optimal, convenient hub, and this is what we are building now. So the idea is not to be the biggest, the largest. The idea is to be the most convenient for and comfortable for passengers. So we have significant plans for renovation and addition of passengers and flights facilities in the airport for the nearest years, and we believe this will help us to move our position significantly in the let's say rating of European airports.
What makes Boresville stand out from other European airports?
Well, definitely there is one significant issue is geography. However, geography of Ukraine is such that it makes Boryspil the convenient connecting point for traffic between, let's say, Europe and Asia. However, I would not say that for the airport it is too much important to be different. For the airport, as an international airport like Boryspil, like hub, it is very important to be in compliance with all industry standards. The more airport meets the standards of the safety, security, connectivity, and so on, and becomes convenient for airlines and for passengers, the more popular it is. So the aim of the airport in this area is not to be different, but to be in line with most contemporary airline business trends and airport business trends.
I want to ask you, I fly through Boresville a lot. For the passenger experience, what do you think Boresville has done really well at, and what do you think that it maybe needs some help with?
Well, just several years ago, when the new terminal was built, the passenger did complain that there are no shops, no cafes, no actually eating points, and so on. So the terminal was quite comfortable, new, light, bright, and so on, but there were actually no facilities for the passengers to spend some time there, for connecting passengers, for example. Now all this is done, so it is sufficient number of, let's say, points where the passengers can have a snack or even lunch, both in transit area and in the area before and after the flight. There is a number of duty-free shops and so on. So it's enough facilities for the passenger to spend this connecting time. However, adding of all these facilities did show that the terminal of the airport has certain limitations in capacity. The more shops you add, the more space you eat from the passengers to have a rest. So it's clear that the gallery where the gates are located needs, in very near future, needs some extraction. So we're planning to add some gates and extend the gallery. We definitely did a lot to make passenger transfer through the airport convenient. For example, in 2016, we opened the domestic area in Terminal D. So now all this transfer, domestic, international, is under one roof, which was not the case before. However, the transit area was not foreseen in the project of this terminal initially. Mm-hmm. So now we feel that the transit area is quite full and needs to be actually not simply extended, I would say it needs to be built. So we plan extended transfer area to be built within a couple of years from now. And this will make, let's say, revolutionary change in terms of convenience of passenger transfer in Boryspil Airport, mm-hmm. like that.
I see. Well, I fly through Boresville once a week, and I've never had a late flight. I'm through security in less than 10 minutes. I get through passport control in less than 20 minutes, and I've never had a problem. So it's an extremely well-run airport, and I really thank you for coming here today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to Boresville.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Alex Gupta with UATV. I was speaking with Maksym Voloshyn. He is the Director of Aviation Activity at Kyiv-Boryspil International Airport. You're watching UATV.